Welcome to Truth Behind History, where we delve into the captivating events and stories that have shaped our world. Today, we're diving into the fascinating topic of Golden Ages, those moments in history when society seemed to shine the brightest. But as we'll uncover, there's more to these periods than meets the eye. So, what exactly is a Golden Age? It's a period marked by exceptional cultural, economic, and societal achievements. Think of it as humanity firing on all cylinders, producing incredible art, groundbreaking ideas, and monumental progress. Examples like classical Greece, the Islamic Golden Age, the Renaissance, and even the Roaring Twenties give us a glimpse of what these moments can look like. From the philosophies of Plato to the melodies of jazz, each Golden Age has its unique signature. But here's the catch: prosperity often comes with a double-edged sword. Patterns emerge, societies reach a peak of progress, but also slide into complacency or overindulgence. It's a recurring theme in history, and understanding it is key to unlocking the lessons these Golden Ages offer. Let's break down these patterns and see how they shaped civilizations throughout the ages. Buckle up, history is about to get real. Now that we know what defines a Golden Age, let's take a closer look at the patterns that often emerge during these periods of prosperity. History shows us that Golden Ages don't just bring advancements, they also set the stage for decline. It's a fascinating cycle, one we see repeated time and time again. First, there's the cycle of prosperity. When societies experience wealth and stability, they naturally shift toward comfort. But here's the catch: this comfort often leads to overindulgence and complacency. Think about it. When life gets too easy, the drive to innovate or uphold traditional values tends to weaken. Success, ironically, can become a society's undoing. And then we have the moral and existential challenges. As people's material needs are met, deeper questions begin to surface. What's the point of it all? What gives life meaning? These existential dilemmas can spark profound cultural shifts, but they can also lead to a sense of aimlessness or decline. This cycle, prosperity leading to both triumph and trouble, is a key theme in understanding the rise and fall of civilizations. In the slides ahead, we'll explore how these patterns played out in different Golden Ages throughout history. Stay tuned, things are about to get even more interesting. When it comes to Golden Ages, classical Greece is often the first to come to mind. This period wasn't just influential, it set the stage for much of Western civilization as we know it today. Let's explore its remarkable achievements. First, we have the philosophical foundations of Western thought. Names like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are practically synonymous with the pursuit of wisdom. These thinkers asked the big questions: what is justice? What is the good life? And their answers laid the groundwork for disciplines ranging from ethics to political theory. Next, let's talk about democracy and governance. Athens introduced the world to the revolutionary concept of direct democracy, where citizens, not kings or nobles, held the power to make decisions. It wasn't perfect by modern standards, but it was a monumental leap in political innovation. And finally, the art and architecture of this era are nothing short of breathtaking. The Parthenon, perched atop the Athenian Acropolis, remains a symbol of balance and beauty. Classical sculptures, with their lifelike forms and idealized proportions, captured the essence of the human spirit. Together, these achievements reflect a society at the height of its intellectual, political, and cultural powers, the Golden Age in every sense of the word. But as we'll see next, even classical Greece had its struggles. Stay with me as we dive deeper into the complexities of this remarkable period. While classical Greece was a golden age of philosophy, governance, and art, not everything was ideal. Beneath the surface of its remarkable achievements, a darker narrative unfolded, a story of hedonism and a gradual erosion of values. Philosophers like Socrates, often seen as the moral compass of his time, didn't hesitate to call out these issues. He critiqued the growing hedonism, arguing that an obsession with pleasure and indulgence was leading to the moral decay of Greek society. To Socrates, the pursuit of virtue was paramount, yet many Greeks seemed more interested in their next lavish banquet than in self-improvement. Speaking of banquets, let's talk about symposiums, the social hubs of the elite. These gatherings weren't just about intellectual discussions, they were also notorious for excessive drinking, feasting, and indulgence in leisure. Imagine the extravagance of a modern luxury party, but with togas and endless wine. This shift wasn't limited to the upper class. Across society, there was a noticeable erosion of traditional values. Communal ideals that once prioritized the well-being of the polis, or city-state, gave way to a focus on personal indulgence. The balance between civic duty and individual pleasure began to tip precariously. It's a cautionary tale that reminds us how prosperity can sometimes lead to complacency and excess. And as we'll see in the next slide, this moral decline set the stage for existential questions that still resonate today. As classical Greece wrestled with moral decadence, it also gave rise to profound existential questions that shaped the next chapter of its cultural legacy. The response to this societal unease? A surge in philosophical schools that sought to provide meaning and guidance in uncertain times. Two of the most notable movements were Stoicism and Epicureanism. These schools of thought offered answers to life's biggest questions. What is our purpose? How do we find happiness? Stoicism emphasized resilience, self-control, and aligning one's life with nature's order, while Epicureanism encouraged the pursuit of simple pleasures and the avoidance of pain. At their core, both philosophies placed a heavy focus on inner peace. They taught that while the external world might be chaotic, individuals could cultivate personal virtue and resilience. In many ways, these philosophies were like a lighthouse, providing a steady beacon of hope for those adrift in a sea of excess and uncertainty. What's fascinating is that these movements weren't just intellectual exercises, they were a response to decline. As moral and societal values eroded, philosophers sought to rebuild them by turning the focus inward, empowering people to find purpose amidst the chaos. This intellectual renaissance speaks to the resilience of human thought, even in the face of decadence. And as we move forward, we'll see how other golden ages tackled their own existential struggles. Let's continue this journey through history. From the heights of classical Greece, we now turn to the Roman Empire during its era of peace and prosperity, the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. This golden age spanned over 2 centuries and showcased remarkable achievements in engineering, governance, and cultural unity. First, let's marvel at Roman engineering. The empire was a master builder, creating aqueducts that carried fresh water across vast distances, roads that connected cities and regions like never before, and iconic structures like the Colosseum, a symbol of both architectural ingenuity and public entertainment. These feats weren't just practical, they were monumental statements of Rome's power and permanence. But Rome didn't stop at bricks and mortar. Its governance and legal systems were equally groundbreaking. The Roman legal framework, with principles like be innocent until proven guilty, laid the foundation for many modern legal systems. These laws provided stability and fairness across a diverse and sprawling empire, uniting people under a common rule. Finally, the cultural and economic unity of the Pax Romana was unprecedented. With trade routes crisscrossing the empire and cultural exchange flourishing, Rome became a melting pot of ideas, goods, and traditions. This unity not only strengthened the empire but also enriched its citizens' lives. The Pax Romana stands as a testament to what a society can achieve when stability and ambition align. Of course, like any golden age, this prosperity came with its own set of challenges, which we'll explore next. Stay with me as we continue unraveling the story of Rome. No golden age is without its shadows, and the Roman Empire during the Pax Romana was no exception. As wealth and abundance grew, so too did moral decay, corruption, and indulgence, a toxic mix that began to weaken the empire from within. Let's start with the excessive feasts and luxuries. Roman elites were known for their opulent banquets, where the wine flowed freely, and no expense was spared. These gatherings often featured exotic dishes, lavish decorations, and a level of indulgence that symbolized the excess of the era. The abundance that once represented Rome's greatness began to take on a darker, hedonistic tone. But decadence wasn't limited to the dinner table. The empire faced growing corruption and power struggles within its political system. As senators and officials prioritized personal gain over the welfare of the state, infighting became rampant. This erosion of trust and integrity weakened the very foundations of Rome's governance. And then there were the moral critiques by philosophers and writers of the time. Critics lamented the loss of traditional Roman virtues, discipline, honor, and a sense of duty to the greater good. They warned that the empire's moral fabric was unraveling, with indulgence and selfishness replacing the stoic values that had built Rome's strength. These elements of moral decline remind us that even the mightiest empires are vulnerable when they lose sight of their core principles. In the next slide, we'll explore how existential struggles and new ideas began to emerge in response to this decadence. As the Roman Empire grappled with moral decay and corruption, a new wave of spiritual and philosophical movements began to emerge, filling the growing void in Roman society. These movements weren't just reactions, they were revolutions in thought and purpose. One of the most significant developments was the rise of Christianity. Starting as a small, persecuted sect, it grew rapidly as people sought meaning and moral guidance in a society drowning in excess. Christianity offered a radical new worldview centered on compassion, humility, and spiritual salvation, values that contrasted sharply with the opulence of the Roman elite. At the same time, Roman philosophers like Seneca reflected on ethics, resilience, and the pursuit of inner peace. These philosophical reflections emphasized living a virtuous life amid external chaos, echoing earlier Stoic ideals while adapting them to the challenges of their era. Underlying both Christianity and philosophical thought was a widespread search for meaning. Romans began questioning the purpose of their material wealth and power, realizing that it often failed to bring lasting fulfillment. This spiritual awakening highlighted the human need for deeper connections and a sense of purpose, especially during times of societal turmoil. The existential struggles of the Roman Empire remind us that material success can never fully satisfy the human spirit. In the next section, we'll explore how another golden age, the Islamic Golden Age, balanced prosperity with purpose. Let's continue our journey through history. Now we journey to the Islamic Golden Age, a period that stands as one of the most remarkable eras of intellectual and cultural advancement in history. Spanning several centuries, this era saw unparalleled achievements in science, art, and education. Let's start with the scientific innovations. Scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, often called the father of algebra, revolutionized mathematics, while advances in astronomy and medicine laid the groundwork for future discoveries. Their works didn't just transform their own societies, they were translated and studied across the world, influencing countless generations. Next, we see cultural flourishing in full bloom. Masterpieces in calligraphy, intricate geometric designs, and breathtaking architecture became hallmarks of Islamic culture. Literature also thrived, with poets and storytellers crafting timeless works that celebrated both the spiritual and the worldly. And at the heart of this golden age were the centers of learning. Institutions like the House of Wisdom in Baghdad became hubs of knowledge, where scholars from diverse backgrounds gathered to translate texts, share ideas, and push the boundaries of human understanding. These centers were the beating heart of intellectual progress, embodying a spirit of curiosity and collaboration. The Islamic Golden Age reminds us that when societies invest in knowledge and creativity, they can leave a legacy that transcends time. But as with any golden age, this period also faced challenges, which we'll explore in the next section. Let's continue unraveling the story of this extraordinary era. No golden age is immune to challenges, and the Islamic Golden Age was no exception. Despite its incredible advancements, signs of moral decadence began to appear, particularly within the elite class. The lavish court life of rulers and nobles was a stark contrast to the Islamic teachings of moderation and humility. Opulent palaces, extravagant banquets, and luxurious lifestyles often overshadowed the principles of simplicity and balance that were central to the religion. This created a conflict with religious principles, as the pursuit of luxury clashed with the moral and spiritual values of Islam. The tension between worldly indulgence and spiritual discipline became a growing concern, especially among the more devout members of society. Scholars and religious leaders didn't stay silent. Through their works and teachings, they criticized the moral decay brought on by indulgence and warned against the dangers of losing sight of higher principles. Their voices served as a reminder of the importance of aligning prosperity with ethical and spiritual values. This dynamic highlights the ever-present challenge of balancing material success with moral integrity, a theme that echoes through history. In the next section, we'll see how these tensions played out in another golden age, the Italian Renaissance. As the Islamic Golden Age reached its peak, it wasn't just a time of material success and intellectual breakthroughs, it was also an era of deep philosophical and spiritual reflection. Amid the grandeur, thinkers began to grapple with existential questions about the true cost of prosperity. One key topic was the debate on material success. Philosophers questioned whether the wealth and achievements of the era came at a spiritual price. They explored the tension between worldly gains and the higher calling of faith, reminding society of the importance of aligning prosperity with moral and spiritual values. This focus on ethics became a central theme in the writings of the time. Scholars emphasized the need for balance, arguing that true success wasn't just about material progress, but also about upholding justice, integrity, and compassion. These teachings were a guide for how to live virtuously in an age of abundance. The influence of Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam, also played a crucial role during this period. Sufi mystics offered a path of spiritual simplicity and inner peace, encouraging people to seek fulfillment not in possessions, but in a deeper connection with the divine. Their teachings resonated with those searching for meaning in a rapidly changing world. These philosophical and spiritual struggles highlight the universal challenge of finding purpose in times of prosperity. As we move on, we'll see how similar questions arose during the Italian Renaissance. Let's continue exploring these golden ages together. The Italian Renaissance was a cultural rebirth that redefined art, science, and the way humans thought about themselves. It wasn't just a period of creativity, it was a profound transformation that laid the foundation for the modern world. Let's start with the artistic masterpieces. Names like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael are etched into history as giants of artistic innovation. Their works, from the Mona Lisa to the Sistine Chapel, not only pushed the boundaries of aesthetics but also explored the human condition in ways that still resonate today. This leads us to the rise of humanism, an intellectual movement that placed humanity at the center of its focus. Humanism celebrated human potential, achievements, and creativity, marking a shift from the medieval focus on divine authority. It encouraged a new way of thinking, one that prioritized curiosity, education, and the power of the individual. While the Italian Renaissance dazzled with its achievements in art, science, and humanism, it also had a darker side. Beneath the brilliance lay a world of excess, corruption, and moral contradictions. One of the most significant issues was church corruption. As the church gained wealth and political power, its moral authority began to erode. Practices like the sale of indulgences and the prioritization of financial gain over spiritual guidance caused widespread disillusionment and set the stage for calls for reform. At the same time, the era's great art was often funded by the extravagance of wealthy patrons. Families like the Medicis poured vast sums into commissioning masterpieces, but they also indulged in luxurious and, at times, excessive lifestyles. While their patronage fueled cultural progress, it also highlighted the stark contrast between their opulence and the struggles of ordinary people. Not everyone remained silent. Thinkers like Savonarola spoke out against the moral decay of the time, condemning both the church and society's obsession with wealth and materialism. His fiery sermons became a symbol of the pushback against Renaissance excess, though his radicalism ultimately cost him his life. This mix of brilliance and decadence reminds us that even golden ages come with complexities and contradictions. In the next section, we'll see how these patterns continued into later periods, such as the Dutch Golden Age. Let's keep unraveling the threads of history. The Italian Renaissance wasn't just a cultural and artistic revolution, it was also a profound shift in how people thought about their place in the world. This era marked a transition from strictly religious perspectives to a broader exploration of humanity and reason. One key struggle was the questioning of religious dogma. For centuries, life and knowledge had been framed through the lens of religious authority. But during the Renaissance, this began to change. People started to emphasize individual inquiry and critical thinking, asking questions that challenged traditional beliefs and opened the door to new ideas. At the heart of this shift was humanist philosophy, which celebrated human dignity, potential, and creativity. Humanism encouraged individuals to explore their own abilities and seek fulfillment, placing humanity, rather than divine intervention, at the center of intellectual and cultural pursuits. Still, this shift didn't mean abandoning faith altogether. Renaissance thinkers worked toward a balance of faith and reason, attempting to reconcile religious beliefs with emerging scientific discoveries. This harmony was vital for navigating the changing intellectual landscape, ensuring that tradition and progress could coexist. These existential struggles created a fertile ground for innovation, debate, and growth, leaving a legacy that continues to shape modern thought. Let's move forward and explore how these ideas evolved in other golden ages. The Dutch Golden Age was a remarkable period of economic, cultural, and intellectual achievement. The Netherlands, a small nation with big ambitions, rose to dominate global trade, revolutionize finance, and create timeless works of art. First, let's look at their trade dominance. The Dutch established vast global trade networks and became leaders in maritime commerce. Their fleet of ships, known as the Dutch East India Company, was the largest in the world at the time, enabling them to control key trade routes and amass incredible wealth. This wealth fueled financial innovation. The Dutch created the first ever stock exchange and developed modern banking systems that became the backbone of a thriving capitalist economy. These innovations didn't just serve the Netherlands, they set the stage for the global financial systems we use today. But the Dutch Golden Age wasn't just about money, it was also a time of cultural brilliance. Artists like Rembrandt and Vermeer produced masterpieces that captured the human experience with unparalleled depth and realism. Their works remain celebrated worldwide, symbolizing the cultural richness of this golden age. The Dutch Golden Age shows how trade, finance, and culture can combine to create a flourishing society. Of course, like other golden ages, this prosperity wasn't without its challenges, as we'll explore next. Stay with me as we continue unraveling the complexities of history. Even in the midst of prosperity, the Dutch Golden Age wasn't without its shadows. Wealth and success brought indulgence, inequality, and moral reflection that revealed the complexities of this golden era. One notable aspect was the luxury and opulence of the merchant class. These newly wealthy elites indulged in extravagant lifestyles, filling their homes with fine art, expensive goods, and lavish displays of conspicuous consumption. This decadence, while a sign of economic success, also symbolized a growing focus on materialism. This wealth, however, wasn't evenly distributed. Social inequalities emerged as the gap between the elites and the rest of society widened. While the merchant class thrived, many others struggled to benefit from the era's economic achievements, creating tensions that simmered beneath the surface. Interestingly, this moral ambiguity wasn't ignored. Cultural works and literature of the time often served as critiques of excess. Still life paintings, for example, depicted sumptuous displays of wealth while subtly reminding viewers of the fleeting nature of material success, a reflection on the moral costs of indulgence. The Dutch Golden Age is a reminder that even in times of great achievement, societal imbalances and moral questions persist. Next, we'll explore how these themes evolved in subsequent periods. Let's continue unraveling history together. The Roaring Twenties was a decade like no other, defined by unprecedented economic growth, cultural innovation, and social transformation. Let's dive into what made this period truly raw. First, there was economic prosperity. The 1920s saw rapid industrial growth, fueled by technological advancements like mass production and the widespread use of electricity. This era gave rise to a booming consumer culture, with automobiles, radios, and household appliances becoming symbols of modernity and convenience. At the same time, the 1920s experienced a cultural renaissance. Jazz music exploded in popularity, bringing with it a sense of freedom and rebellion. Art Deco redefined design with its bold, geometric styles, and modernist literature challenged traditional norms, reflecting a break from the constraints of the past. Finally, this was a time of social progress. Movements like women's suffrage reached critical milestones, with women in many countries gaining the right to vote. These advancements marked a profound shift in societal roles, laying the groundwork for future transformations. The Roaring Twenties was a golden age of optimism and innovation, but, as we'll see, this prosperity wasn't without its challenges. Stay with me as we explore the moral and existential struggles that accompanied this era. The glitz and glamour of the Roaring Twenties masked an undercurrent of moral and societal challenges. While the decade sparkled with innovation and cultural shifts, it was also a time of excess and indulgence. The era of prohibition, meant to curb alcohol consumption, instead led to prohibition-era excesses. Speakeasies and underground bars thrived, creating a vibrant but illicit alcohol culture. Far from suppressing drinking, the ban gave rise to organized crime and a rebellious embrace of hedonistic nightlife. This defiance of norms went hand in hand with the rise of hedonism. The Jazz Age parties, immortalized in music, literature, and film, became symbols of pleasure and extravagance. Lavish celebrations often centered on indulgence, wealth, and living in the moment, encapsulating the carefree spirit of the decade. But not everyone viewed these changes favorably. Through critiques of consumerism, literary works like The Great Gatsby revealed the hollowness behind material excess and societal indulgence. These stories served as poignant reminders of the emptiness that often accompanied the era's relentless pursuit of pleasure and wealth. The Roaring Twenties shine as a golden age of creativity and progress, but they also remind us of the risks of unbridled indulgence. In the next section, we'll see how these themes of decadence and progress continued to unfold in later eras. Let's keep exploring the patterns of history. The Roaring Twenties weren't just a time of prosperity and indulgence, they were also a period of deep existential questioning, especially for those who lived through the trauma of World War I. Many experienced post-war disillusionment, a pervasive sense of despair captured by writers like Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald. This lost generation, scarred by the horrors of war, struggled to reconcile their experiences with the rapidly changing world around them. Their works reflected a longing for meaning in an era dominated by materialism and excess. This search for meaning wasn't limited to literature. As the pace of change accelerated, many struggled to find purpose beyond the pursuit of wealth and pleasure. Industrialization, urbanization, and cultural shifts left people questioning traditional values, often feeling adrift in a world that seemed to prioritize progress over human connection. Amid this turmoil, emerging countercultures offered new ways of thinking. Artistic and literary movements delved into themes of existentialism and introspection. These voices challenged the status quo, reflecting the deep unease and yearning for something greater that permeated the decade. The Roaring Twenties remind us that even in times of innovation and growth, the human spirit often grapples with profound questions about purpose and identity. In our next section, we'll explore how these struggles evolved in the aftermath of the economic boom. The aftermath of World War II ushered in a remarkable period of economic growth, technological progress, and cultural transformation that shaped modern society in profound ways. At the heart of this era was middle-class prosperity. Economic expansion fueled by industrial growth and government programs like the GI Bill allowed millions of families to achieve financial stability. This middle-class boom redefined the American dream, with home ownership, steady employment, and consumer goods becoming accessible to a larger portion of society than ever before. Simultaneously, the era was marked by technological innovations. The space race inspired groundbreaking advancements, from satellite communications to computing technologies, while consumer electronics like televisions and kitchen appliances revolutionized daily life. These innovations reshaped how people interacted with the world and each other. Finally, this period saw a cultural transformation. Television became a dominant medium, bringing entertainment and information directly into homes. Pop culture flourished, with music, fashion, and films reflecting the optimism and dynamism of the times. Icons like Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe became symbols of a generation hungry for expression and change. The post-war economic boom was a golden age in many ways, but it also brought new challenges and questions about identity, materialism, and societal values. In the next slide, we'll dive into the complexities and contradictions of this transformative era. Stay tuned. The post-war economic boom may have brought prosperity, but it also sowed the seeds of moral and social challenges, many of which revolved around consumerism and materialism. First, we see the rise of consumer culture, especially in suburban life. With newfound financial stability, families flocked to the suburbs, where material wealth became a marker of success. New cars, televisions, and kitchen gadgets filled homes as advertising campaigns glorified consumption. However, this focus on acquiring goods often came at the expense of deeper connections and fulfillment. Critics of the time raised alarms about the conformity inherent in suburban lifestyles. Writers and artists began to highlight the emptiness of a culture obsessed with appearances and possessions. They questioned whether the pursuit of comfort and material goods had dulled creativity, individuality, and a sense of purpose. Finally, the effects of mass production and consumption began to ripple outward, impacting the environment. The relentless demand for goods strained ecological systems, introducing concerns about pollution and sustainability. This marked one of the first hints that the unchecked pursuit of material success could have consequences far beyond individual households. The post-war boom offers a powerful lesson: prosperity alone doesn't guarantee progress. Instead, it invites us to reflect on the balance between material success and the values that define a meaningful life. As we move forward, let's examine how this tension evolved in the decades that followed. We may be witnessing the dawn of a new golden age, driven by remarkable technological and economic advancements. First, we are living through a technological revolution. Innovations in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and space exploration are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. AI is transforming industries, biotechnology is enhancing healthcare and agriculture, and space exploration is reigniting humanity's curiosity about the universe. Meanwhile, there's economic growth in tech sectors. From startups to global giants, technology-driven industries are reshaping markets and fueling prosperity. This growth is not only redefining business landscapes, but also creating opportunities for innovation and employment on a global scale. Finally, global connectivity has become a cornerstone of modern life. Thanks to the internet and advanced communication networks, people and businesses are more interconnected than ever before. This digital web has revolutionized interaction, enabling the free exchange of ideas, commerce, and collaboration across continents. Together, these advancements hint at a world of unprecedented possibilities, a modern golden age that combines innovation, economic strength, and global unity. But as with any golden age, we must remain vigilant about the challenges that come with such rapid progress. As we navigate the modern world, signs of societal decadence have emerged, raising concerns about our collective values and well-being. First, there's the issue of social media-induced narcissism. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok prioritize vanity metrics, likes, followers, and views, which distort self-image and societal values. This has led to an unhealthy emphasis on external validation over meaningful connections. Second, the mental health epidemic is a growing concern. Anxiety and depression rates have soared in recent years, reflecting the immense societal pressures of our fast-paced, hyper-connected world. Many are struggling to keep up with the demands of modern life, often feeling isolated despite being digitally connected. Lastly, a profound loss of purpose has become evident. Rapid technological and cultural changes are challenging traditional value systems, leaving many to grapple with existential questions about meaning and identity. These challenges are not insurmountable, but they require conscious effort to address. By fostering authentic connections, prioritizing mental health, and rethinking our societal values, we can strive to create a healthier, more balanced future. Today's world is undergoing profound changes, sparking existential struggles as we navigate a rapidly evolving landscape. First, there's the rise of automation. As machines and artificial intelligence displace traditional jobs, many face challenges to their economic stability and personal identity. The question of how we define purpose in a world where human labor is increasingly redundant becomes ever more pressing. Second, societies are grappling with existential questions. In an age of abundance and rapid technological advancements, the search for meaning intensifies. How do we find purpose when so many of our basic needs are met, yet fulfillment remains elusive? Finally, debates on ethics and progress have emerged. The development of AI and other groundbreaking technologies raises critical questions. Are these innovations aligned with human values? How do we ensure that progress benefits society without compromising our ethical principles? These struggles highlight the importance of thoughtful dialogue and deliberate action as we forge a path forward in this age of unprecedented change. History has a way of echoing itself, driven by patterns deeply rooted in human nature. First, we see patterns in prosperity and decline. Throughout history, golden ages often emerge and fade in cycles, shaped by human behaviors like ambition, innovation, and eventually, complacency. Speaking of complacency, success can breed overindulgence and erosion of values. Societies that reach their zenith often succumb to complacency, where the pursuit of progress is replaced by indulgence, destabilizing their foundations. Finally, there's immense value in drawing lessons from the past. By understanding these recurring patterns, we gain insights to address modern challenges and strive for sustainable progress. History doesn't just repeat itself, it teaches us, if only we're willing to listen. In a rapidly changing world, navigating the modern era requires discipline and a commitment to personal growth. First, focus on self-discipline. By cultivating habits that build resilience, you can counter societal complacency and stay grounded amidst distractions. Next, pursue meaningful goals. Align your ambitions with long-term values and purpose to ensure your efforts contribute to a fulfilling life. Finally, adapt to change. Embrace lifelong learning to stay relevant in an ever-evolving world, where flexibility and curiosity are key to success. With these principles, you can chart a path through the complexities of the modern age, guided by clarity and purpose. Today's world offers unprecedented opportunities for creativity and innovation. First, leverage modern resources. Access education and technology to unlock your full potential and broaden your horizons. Next, embrace innovation. Harness your creativity to solve problems and drive meaningful change in your community and beyond. Finally, cultivate timeless values. Build strong communities and prioritize ethics to ensure progress is sustainable and rooted in purpose. By combining these principles, you can turn the challenges of the modern era into a platform for growth and achievement. History shows us that golden ages often arise from periods of struggle and innovation. As we face challenges today, we must draw lessons from the past, adapt to change, and seize the opportunities before us. If you enjoyed this exploration of history's repeating cycles and its lessons for the modern era, be sure to subscribe to Truth Behind History. Don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and check out our other videos for more historical insights. Together, let's uncover the truths that shape our world. Thank you for watching.